People who are involved with environmental organisations often talk about climate change and global warming and the carbon footprint. And your carbon footprint is how much carbon you make use of in your lifestyle. It's not the only thing that people associated with the environmental lobby movement talk about, but is one of the things they talk about, and perhaps the main thing. Some years back I read an essay on the internet which argued that this belief is flawed. And unfortunately this essay is no longer available to read on the internet, so I can't tell you who I'm quoting here. The logic is, if you cut your carbon footprint, you will probably save money. I won't say definitely, because there may be exceptions, but suppose you do something to your house to make it warmer, to make it more conserving of energy. You're probably going to have your central heating on less often as a consequence, and as a result of that have a lower gas bill. The question then arises, what do you do with the money you're not spending on your gas bill? Loosely speaking, there are three things you can do with money. You can spend it, you can give it away, or you can save it. If you spend money, what are you spending it on which has no carbon footprint? I'm not saying you can't spend it on something which has no carbon footprint, but what would that something be? If you give money away, for example, if you give it to a charity, you're letting the recipient of that money decide how to spend that money. And what makes you think they'll spend that money on something which has no carbon footprint? So the third thing you can do with money is you can save it. You put it in a bank or a building society. But if you do that, the bank and the building society will be able to lend out the money at interest to someone, and that someone will be able to spend the money on something which may or may not have a carbon footprint, but which is more likely. And so what other options do you have? I suppose you could stuff your money inside a mattress, but I'm not sure many people do that nowadays. You can cut your carbon footprint in the sense that you can cut the amount of carbon you use in one area of your lifestyle. For example, you can cut your domestic heating bill. But that just gives you more money to spend on something else. And what will that something else be? And what carbon footprint will it have? In order for you to understand issues around the environmental movement, you have to understand that question. You have to understand the question, can you really cut your carbon footprint?